Happy to have joined us this morning the president, the CEO, the executive director of One Hope United, Damon Cates. Damon Cates, good morning and welcome to WVON.
Well, good morning, Mr. Williams. It's so great to be with you today. I'm happy to be on your show again.
Good to have you. So you got to call me Rufus first.
Okay.
Remind us about One Hope United and what you do.
Well, yeah, we're a large-scale, multifaceted social service agency. We provide early childhood education, residential care, foster care, a lot of child and family welfare, wraparound supports, as well as clinical and mental health services. We started 130 years ago, and in fact, we just celebrated our 130th anniversary 2 days ago on October 8th. And now we've grown and expanded our services across the state of Illinois. We're pretty much everywhere. We've expanded about 25 years ago into Florida, and we're serving close to 10,000 children and families across both states every year.
That's fantastic. You're almost doing as much work as Sister Jean was.
Exactly, 106.
Yeah, amazing woman, 106, but 103 is no jokes. You've expanded. Why Florida? What made you go into Florida?
Well, the state of Florida privatized, which means that the state decided to divide the state into 22 different, what they call circuits, and then they asked agencies to come down and run those different circuits on behalf of the state. And One Hope United was invited to be one of the first agencies to do that in the Orlando area, and what's known as Circuit 9. So that's what took us there. We're no longer the lead agency in that area, and instead do work for other lead agencies in 8 of the different circuits down there.
So someone must have known about you all to be invited down in Florida.
That's exactly right. Yep. Yeah, that was a national call for people to, the invitation for people to apply to become a lead agency. So we were really honored to be asked.
That's fantastic.
And speaking of honors, another wonderful thing is Alderman Lamont Robinson 3 years ago, because of the work that we were doing in the city and across the state and elsewhere, introduced One Hope United to the City Council, who then voted to make October 8th One Hope United Day in the city of Chicago. So a couple of days ago, to celebrate our 130th, Alderman Robinson joined us for a birthday party where we were able to honor that recognition with the city, which we're very proud to be able to do.
That's fantastic. Does that day happen now every year? Is that the One Hope United Day on October 8th every year?
That's exactly right. And, we just also found out that one of our state representatives, Representative Mason, also introduced some similar paperwork or legislation with the state. And it looks like that October 8th will also be known as One Hope United Day across the state of Illinois, besides just in the city of Chicago.
That's fantastic, Damon. So obviously you guys are doing wonderful work there at One Hope United. How do you support how does the organization find support?
It's multifaceted, but we definitely have philanthropists and community members who support us. Our legislative partners are critical for the work that we're trying to do. And also, we're about 98% government funded. So we work really, really closely with multiple agencies across the state. And I do have to give a shout out to Heidi Miller, who is the director of the Department of Children and Family Services in Illinois. And she's been in the role now for a little over a year and a half. And I got to tell you, she's such a breath of fresh air for the agency. And she's a true transformational leader who really does have a transformational mindset. And the last time I was on the show, we talked a little bit about our Hope House model, which continues to expand. And it's definitely because of her leadership and vision for what she sees for the youth and families across the state of Illinois that's made that possible.
That's... go on.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say that we had talked about it, and we're up to 5 now across Illinois. We have 11 of them in Florida, and the director, Heidi, she's talking to us about how we can expand further across the state.
That's fantastic. Remind everyone, if you would, Damon, what the Hope House is.
These are single-family homes, I like to call a normal home in a normal neighborhood, where 4 youth who are between the ages of 13 and 17 who have had multiple placements in the foster care system, and we're talking about 15, 16, 17 different placements, find the next placement even more difficult and are often put into traditional residential care or group homes instead of a family home environment, which is what we create in our Hope houses, providing stability, access to employment, help them get their driver's license, also start to talk with them about what life might look like after aging out of the foster care system, and then connecting them to the services they might need when they turn 18, or extended foster care services that they're eligible for until they're 21 and 22.
Yeah, that aging out has been really a challenge for a lot of people, just because it happens, not because you're ready, all these other things are in place, but simply because of the calendar. So providing...
Well, exactly right. Exactly right.
Talk about some of the other things that you do. Did you say 98? You didn't say 98% of your funding comes from government sources.
Yes, it does. Yeah, through our contracts. So we're looking forward to expanded philanthropy involvement and additional, individual, corporate, foundation partners to support our work. I mean, the contracts fund the work that we're doing, but there's just so much more that we feel like we could do and support those that are in our care with additional resources.
Do you have events, or how do you bring in other resources from philanthropy or other people who've learned about you so that they can help One Hope United?
Yeah, we normally, when we do a regular calendar of both events and then, outreach to donors through mail and online and those sorts of things, we do host two major events. One is a golf outing in the fall, but we also host our Thriving Together Luncheon, which is this next year, June 11th, in downtown Chicago. And that's also a really wonderful opportunity for people to get an update on all things that are happening at One Hope United, and then to figure out ways to best engage with us.
Damon, when you guys first opened back in 1895, you opened really dealing as an orphanage, working with children who needed that kind of service. Is that still, you find, one of the areas that you are still most involved in?
Well, actually, our greatest involvement now is more on the foster care side instead of providing residential care. And in fact, that's what Heidi Miller, the director of DCFS, and I have been talking about a lot, is what innovation and system disruption we can bring to traditional residential care, which has a place, but we just believe that there's more options that should be added to the continuum of care, so that the default isn't someone who's finding themselves in a challenging situation, that we just have to put them in an emergency shelter or in a traditional group home, once known as an orphanage, but instead have options like the Hope House, which creates a much more family environment and provides stability in a much different way.
Fantastic work you're doing. Glad to know about your day. Congratulations to Representative Lamont Robinson, my good fraternity brother, who helped to make all of that happen. Where can people go to find out more about One Hope United?
OneHopeUnited.org. Our website has a lot of information. As the holidays approach, too, we have something that we call the Holiday Express. We really try to make sure that everyone in our care, whether it's at our early learning centers, foster care, and our therapy programs, has a gift for the holiday. And so if folks want to get involved with that, there's lots of information on our website. We would very much appreciate the support.
OneHopeUnited.org. Check it out, because the holidays are upon us, and those of us who have should really help those who can use it. Damon, thank you so much for the work that you do, and appreciate you coming back on with us to talk about it.
I really appreciate being here. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
And thanks so much.
Indeed. That's Damon Cates. He is the President, CEO, Executive Director of One Hope United. We'll be back. Take more of your calls right after this.